Now, I'm really excited about today. This is something I wanted to shoot for a really long time, and we're finally getting the opportunity to do it. So for many a year, I've been over there. I've been trackside cheering on the British Superbike Championship, but I've always wondered what happens down here in pit lane, and in particular, what happens in there, in the pit boxes and in the trucks. This is Danny Buchan, and he's kindly lent us the keys to his crib, his Superbike, his truck.
Pit box, the pit box, yeah.
The lot. How important is a good pit box and a good team morale?
It's massive, you know. The most of the time you spend is in your pit box. So throughout a race weekend, yeah, it's massive to have a supportive crew and people who believe that you win, because as soon as you doubt your team or you doubt anyone around you like that, then it has an adverse effect all the way down the line. So you could end up riding around thinking, he's done this on purpose, my bike doesn't feel right. But yeah, I mean, we put in lots of effort behind the scenes as riders, obviously, with our diet, our training, all that sort of stuff, and they put in equally as much effort. You know, it's such a team effort, and when you've got a good crew behind you and a good team, it makes the job so much easier when you turn up here. And because if you're having a bad weekend, you're away from your family and all that sort of stuff, you can't. If you've got a negative team around you or people that you don't want to be around, then you're doing the wrong thing, you know. So it's very important to have that atmosphere.
Mega. Well, I think it's time to go have a sneak around, isn't it? Let's have a look. So the first stop, what's in these?
The toolbox actually is something I'm not too familiar with. Obviously, growing up riding motorbikes, my dad's always sort of taken care of that, and yeah, and then obviously when you become a professional racer, your team take care of it. So for me, I wouldn't even know how to. Oh look, I know how to open it. You've got a tape measure. This is the handlebar tool. So when the guys are changing the bike or anything like that, they use this is where my base handlebar setup will be. When the guys take the fairings off, obviously we use this. This gadget here. These are the bits the guys obviously use more than normal. That's why they're out, so they can quickly get to them.
As a motorcyclist myself, I know the most important bit of kit you need in your toolbox is a hammer. Yeah, it fixes anything, doesn't it? You can like do the slightest bit of adjustments with it, the biggest bits of adjustments. Where is it? How big is your hammer? It's got to be in.
That's exactly how much they use a hammer. It's not much. Because they're professional, they don't need it.
What's your setup usually? Just here, you just have your gloves, your lids. Yeah. Do you have, you know, before you go out, do you have any sort of race rituals or anything like that?
Not really, no. I mean, you usually have your dry lid, obviously what you're using, depending on the weather, your wet lid underneath, and you'll have a couple of sets of gloves and a couple of sets of earplugs. But yeah, pre-race rituals, you'll see me listen to music. I like to listen to music because the team will talk to each other. Oh, have you done this? Have you done that? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Things like that. I like to ignore that. I like to just focus on what I've got coming up. Obviously, you've got a long race coming up, which you need to be focused for. And for me, focusing for half hour at a time is quite hard.
I was at Cadwell, and I remember you had a long time in pit lane. You were doing a lot of work to your suspension. You could feel there was too much oil in the bottom of the forks.
Yeah, you feel it, yeah.
I was just amazed how you can feel that. Like there's just millimetres of liquid in the bottom of the suspension was the difference that you could feel. It's
amazing, yeah. Like when you make you can make a 5mm change to the chassis of the bike, and it changes the bike so much. And your team will say to you, we've made 5mm change. And it's huge, like it's like a foot in real life, you know, it's a massive feel to the bike. So when you're basically braking as hard as you can into a turn, you can feel the tyre compress and you can feel the tyre move, and that's obviously how hard you know you're pushing. Over the years, when these guys say, oh, he's not got the experience, it's those sort of things that you pick up throughout riding. And
so picture the scene, it's Brands Hatch, GP, final round this season, you're in for the championship, just about to go out and ride and maybe win the championship. What do you put on your iPad?
Celine Dion. No, I don't know. No, to be honest with you, I have such I have such a mixed taste in music. Like, yeah, it depends what mood I'm in and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I like all sorts, like grime, garage, rap. I like classic stuff. I like literally everything. Naturally, when I get on the bike, I'm quite pumped up. So I have to calm myself down quite a lot. A lot of people have to try and like amp themselves up. I'm the complete opposite. I'm naturally amped. Yeah.
Cool.
No caffeine on a race day either, otherwise I'm even more amped then. And then you might see me flick it at turn 1, yeah, so I have to try and stay calm. We actually have a full-time guy who does the tyres and the wheels. If you come here tomorrow morning, you'd see all the tyres would be on the warmers. You'll have the wets ready to go just in case it rains. And yeah, his job's pretty full-time. He has to manage constantly what's going in, what's coming out, how many laps they've done, the pressures, the air temperature, the track temperature. So they have quite an important job, and it plays a big role in what we do. Post-session, we'll come in here and debrief fully. So my crew chief, my data guy, a suspension technician, we all come back in here after a session and analyse what we've done, what we found was good, what we found was bad, what we can change for the next one.
It's good to get your initial thoughts.
Yeah. Jamie Whittam the weekend was saying that it's important for a rider to get everything out straight away. And it's quite funny, like for me, I pick up a lot of stuff instantly, but then I've had times where I've sat in my motorhome at 8, 9 o'clock at night and I'll text my crew chief like, Matt, can we do this, can we look at that? But your feedback's very important because obviously if you coming in and saying, yeah, the bike feels good, the team are going, all right, no worries, we don't need to change it. So it has a massive impact on obviously your race performance.
Thanks for showing us around. I mean, I've wanted to do it for a long time, have a look in the pit boxes, see what happens, you know, behind the scenes. And yeah, it's a great insight. And I think this season, you had a great one last year. Fingers crossed you can just build on it for this year. Is that the plan? That's
the plan, yeah, getting that top 6. You know, we missed it obviously by 4 points last year. And it was 4 points we missed here at Silverstone. So I feel like I've sort of got a point to prove to myself more than anyone that I can actually ride a bike around here. So I'm looking forward to getting out.
Mega. All the best this season. We'll be watching. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.